Bonjour, and welcome back, Huntos. I'm Agent Cara Blackwood, your assigned lead paranormal investigator, or LPI for short. Today our hunt is a strange one, codenamed Frozen Bang. Let's dive into the case files you see before you. Our case begins in the sleepy town of Unionville, Missouri, where a family of three, loving mother, doting father, and their rambunctious son lived a peaceful life in a single-story farmhouse on Park Street. The home had been theirs for quite some time, with both parents having grown up and going into the same town and the same school since preschool, clear up to high school. Their parents were high school sweethearts, that soon married once they graduated high school. Anywhere you walked the halls, they were seen together as a sweet couple. Mary Frances, age 35 years old, grew up always loving animals and caring for them on her family farm. She was short, only around 4 foot 9 inches tall, often getting playfully teased for her height. I know how that goes. And Mary had shoulder-length, curly black hair. The passion for caring for the sweet creatures led her to strive to learn and study their care, until she got her degree to become a licensed veterinarian. Mary then went on to buy a small clinic to care for animals in town that needed it, to be it the smallest mouse to the largest horse that needed care. You name it, she never turned anyone in need away from getting the care they needed. She became well known in Unionville for her expert care and handling of any creatures that happened to find their way into her clinic. Joe Francis, on the other hand, age 38, grew up having a very protective nature, chasing bullies away in school and fighting for injustices of people that were wrongfully attacked or accused. He was taller than most, at the height of 6 foot 7 inches, sporting shaggy brown locks of hair. He also had a strong passion for anything athletic, participating in all sports: baseball, soccer, track and field, and even football. Mary urged him that with his passions, he should try to go to the police academy and become an officer. Joe's values and passions made him a perfect fit. He readily agreed, since apart from her suggestions, he wasn't sure of which path he wanted to go in life. Joe managed to pass his exams and physical tests with flying colors, and shortly after obtaining a job in town, roughly 2 years on the job, he got promoted to sheriff's position. The current sheriff, John Mullaney, was up for retirement after 60 long years of serving and protecting the sleepy town. John believed that Joe was the perfect fit for the job. Mary and Joe Francis had a simple wedding in the backyard of her parents' house. She went down the aisle on horseback, complete with her long gown and her token cowboy hat that she was caught wearing most days. In about a few months of being wed, the married couple was overjoyed to learn that she had become pregnant with a boy. The caring and nurturing nature of Mary and the protective and honorable Joe were ready and always wanted to have children. Their son Sam Francis was born healthy and happy. Although a mischievous one that often got himself into shenanigans, the parents loved him dearly. The loving family lived life day to day with hardly any worries, aside from the occasional stressors from their professions or the occasional boo-boo, ouch, or illness from their son. That all changed that fateful fall in the year of 2002. The first acknowledgement. October 5th, 2019, Sam Francis, who is still a minor, thus his age and face have been redacted due to privacy, began hearing strange noises, mostly at night when he was playing at home alone or even in the room alone. Thuds, scrapes, and knocks of what sounded like on doors or inside of the walls. Kind of like that. He would go to look to see where the sounds were coming from, but when he arrived closer to the source, the sounds ceased. He said in a witness statement that there are multiple occurrences that would see like shadows beneath the doors at night. Shadows that seemed to stretch and swallow the room up whole. Even more eerily were the sounds of footsteps from inside his closet. The parents heard him speak of these occurrences, slightly concerned, but merely tried to limit him from watching scary or violent movies before he had to go to sleep, which was a very big mistake on their part, thinking that maybe they were the root cause, causing him to see or hear things that weren't actually there. A couple days later, on October 7th, 2019, Sam began noticing floating lights when playing with the camera on his tablet while attempting to send pics, as he called them, to his friends and family. When he moved the tablet down to look around it, the floating lights disappeared out of sight. He said things got worse after he noticed what we at the lodge believed to be a spirit orb. A definite sign that there was something strange and possibly paranormal occurring at the Francis residence. October 16th, 2019. Sam and both his parents, Mary and Joe, reported that when they would least expect it, items were being moved or being tossed around their rooms, with the incidents occurring mostly at night. Mary specifically made a witness account of jolting awake to find that her favorite cowboy hat had been moved across her nightstand right before her eyes. She was slightly spooked, but still shrugged off the incident and went back to sleep, chalking the incident up to being her tired, overworked mind playing tricks on her. When their son spoke up about what he witnessed, Joe and Mary didn't believe him. But soon after, according to the preliminary testimony of the mother, Mary, it got worse. More frequent and worse. When alone, the light would suddenly turn off in the night. The father, Joe, reported that he heard his wife or son speaking, even when they were next to him, and clearly were not. All of these occurrences were ignored or played off as a trick of their minds, which would be a very grave mistake on their parts. November 6th, 2019. There were increased incidences of cold spots inside various areas of the farmhouse. The parents called an HVAC technician, having assumed a CO2 leak was the cause from damaged or clogged ducts, causing cold spots where none should be. Later, Joe would make note that he was in denial and could have saved himself $600 in repair fees. Frequently, when trying to sleep or at times when they were preoccupied, the radio would blare sporadic AM/FM frequencies, causing static at unexplainable times. They were all losing sleep. All the while, their sanity drained more and more until they felt like they were drained completely. The parents knew they couldn't contact local authorities for help, especially Joe. He knew this because he knew the inner workings of his profession, and that he would just get laughed out of the station, or get put on desk duty due to his perceived insane ramblings. And nobody wants desk duty. Boring. December 5th, 2019. A hunter in the area overheard his child and his mother talking at a nearby park. The hunter then approached and offered the expertise of the hunter's lodge. With the evidence and eyewitness accounts before us, whatever entity that there was surely going to need to be sent back to the bail. And that's where we come in. With our know-how, professional tools, and go-get-'em attitude, we will hunt the entity down and bring this poor family peace. This hunt will be dangerous, so be advised and ever on your guard. Around every corner, it could be lurking. And the history of this entity goes back to ancient times. If it is left alone, it will surely devour this family until they too become vengeful spirits. All the tools needed have been provided to you, courtesy of the lodge, to adequately exercise or gather evidence of their presence. On December 8th, 2019, at approximately 11 p.m., 3 experienced hunters of Equus rank approached the family's farmhouse from their backyard. The family in question was away on vacation, so they were able to gather what they needed without being discovered or have witness accounts of their hunt. Carefully, each of them donning their black protective gloves and paranormal gear, entered through the back door. As described by eyewitness accounts prior, the activity appeared to be present in the son's bedroom. One male hunter, by the name of George Francis, carried a video camera and surveyed the room carefully, expecting every nook and cranny. And after some moments of searching, sudden thuds were heard in the room. Being an experienced hunter, this did not faze George in the slightest, and he soon found what he was searching for, at long last. First, blurry and then very distinctly, solid ghost orbs were visible through the camera's lens. He excitedly waved his arms around and the other 2 hunters who were searching outside hallway for any signs of the aforementioned cold spots. The female hunter, Joy Colby, responded first and whispered to George, asking for what he had found. He then described the evidence uncovered and gestured that the room seemed to be, in fact, the origin point for the entity. The third hunter, another male by the name of Radicus Finch, told the other two hunters to log the data in their case files at a safe distance outside of the house. Radicus would remain behind and hide in the boys' bedroom closet to see if he could gather more evidence. They agreed and left the scene. As they were turning to exit, a gust of chill air swept through the room, causing them to shiver. They grinned gleefully and began to make their way out. But as they passed the bedroom door, it slammed shut, and static from the radio started buzzing wildly. Both of the hunters yelled, "Hide!" in unison to Radicus. He barely makes it out of the closet, feeling what felt like ice-cold fingers graze the back of his neck, breath heaving wildly as the static and now sudden thudding noises increased. He composes himself and checks his watch. The time reads exactly midnight, but it felt like an eternity had passed. But in reality, it was only mere moments for the hunt. Radicus reaches down to where he had stashed the thermometer and settles in to wait to see if the temperature drops. Sure enough, the bar slowly stops dropping lower and lower and lower, and even lower still, until, eureka! The temperature drops to freezing, further leading the hunters to what entity may be lurking. Radicus exits the closet and radios the other hunters to come back in, just so he can tell them what data he has uncovered. The time is now 12:20 a.m. His keen eyesight and attention to detail, which made her a highly valuable member to have on the team. She suddenly exclaims that the child's notebook that had been sitting on the bed now has the appearance of ghostwriting on its surface. She snapped photographic evidence and carefully extracted the page from the notebook to take back with them to the lodge. They had their answers and could safely extract and provide the lodge with a full report of the incident. Excellent timing, too. Just as George, the team leader, radioed in for the retrieval team, an eerie, enraged voice began whispering in their ears. The hunters quickly retrieved all their equipment, ensuring they left no traces of their investigation behind, and then left the scene through the back door. Extraction occurred approximately at 0100 hours. Evidence of ghost orbs, ghost writing, and freezing temperatures were gathered on the scene, unveiling the identity of the entity to be a revenant. There was an intense battle, and it was a close call for hunters on scene, but ultimately they were able to be rid of the ghost. The evidence uncovered was highly valuable to setting the family free from its haunting presence. Any hunters out there, or those curious to join the fight, please refer to our Hunter's Guide to the Paranormal for more info on how to survive, and for some, exorcise, contain, or elude these entities. Don't rest easy, hunters, for there are many more investigations at large that will need to be solved and vanquished. Many more poor, unfortunate souls are unable to rest easily. Until next when we convene together in this hunter's cabin. Stay safe, protect the innocent, trust your instincts, and remember, the hunt is never done. Happy hunting.